If you want to say something negative, you send it right to me at Rosenberg Radio. You throw me every hate bullet you want to put out there, and I will look forward to it. Mr. C, we celebrate you today.
Finish Mr. C full flex. You ready to make this movie? Oh, only station that can do it, Hot 97. You know what I mean?
Rest in peace to Mr. C. If you haven't heard, Mr. C passed away. Good friend of mine, good friend of ours, good friend to a lot of people in the DJ radio community. Yeah, so if you're wondering why we sound like this, it's because that's what happened. You know, a lot of people, you may only know Mr. C from mixing on the radio or whatever, you know, controversies that you heard about in the past. But you claim to be hip-hop, and you claim that you love this hip-hop thing, but you don't really know what somebody like Mr. C contributed to helping artists and a DJ community. So you get this button.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Because you ain't really as hip-hop as you think you are. If your priority is the coverage of the negativity that, you know, Mr. C got himself into. But, you know, that's why he was so protected, I know, by me and many others, is because we knew what he meant to this hip-hop thing that we love, and we know how much he cared about hip-hop. And I think that's something that I hope we never lose, man. And I hope that individuals who you know, have platforms and spaces in hip-hop really care about hip-hop, man, and really care about taking care of the music. There's many aspects of hip-hop, you know, even in this J. Cole, Drake, Kendrick debate where we're talking about battle rapping, and, you know, some people who don't give a damn, they don't care about that aspect of it. They don't want it. They want the great music that comes along with it. They want the club records. They want the good times. They want the great songs. And that's fine. But, you know, Mr. C cared about the totality of the game, all the way down to the craft of DJing and party rocking. Some people don't like DJing and party rocking. They go to D and they're like, yo, why you stopping the music? And why you talking so much? And why you doing this? Why ain't what they into? But if you come from a certain time, you know what that does to an event. The DJ engaging with the crowd and together engaging with the records in a certain way and through a routine of, you know, crowd participation and DJ interaction. It's a good time, man, if you allow yourself to be overcome by the vibes. And Mr. C was one of the best, and that's why you'll see so many people celebrate Mr. C today. From people who he competed against in clubs or competed with against him in his time slot on the radio, or, you know, was alongside him in the competition on the same team. And that's, you know, what I hope is remembered most about Mr. C on this day.
I saw yesterday, the thing that made me smile yesterday, I was talking to Shawnee offline, is that when I looked around yesterday and I saw the tributes pouring in, it was all about C's contributions to hip-hop. And just so many people so affected. So many DJs so affected. He was... there's the obvious stuff, right? Like he was, well, maybe not obvious if you're younger. He was Big Daddy Kane's DJ. Earlier, Cass played. I'm sure he'll play it again. Played Mr. C's Master Plan off of Big Daddy Kane's Long Live the Kane album. He, of course, many know, discovered Notorious B.I.G. Was a really big part of the process of getting Biggie's tapes where it needed to get to eventually becoming who he became. And he stayed along the ride in that process for quite a while. You know what I mean? And really was a guiding voice for Biggie. He had close relationships and did sick things with so many other legends. He was a big dog pit bull. It was basically Flex and then C when you look at the top of the big dog pit bulls who were the DJs who were running this town when hip hop was at its most crazy in New York City. Obviously, we talk about he was the guy, and one of the real sad things about this whole thing is he was the tribute guy. He was the guy who made sure that nobody else's name was forgotten. whether it was Biggie or Big L or Tupac or whoever it was. And by the way, the internet is your friend. Mr. Cee posted his SoundCloud has hundreds, if not thousands, of mixes. And if you look around otherwise, you'll find his mixtapes with Redman, his best of Biggie, they're everywhere. So he did so many incredible tapes like that. He contributed in so many different ways. And I got to give a couple of shout outs. Big shout out to LL Cool J, who brought C on to Rock the Bells Radio. And just so everyone understands the history, C left here. C was welcome to stay at Hot 97 when he had come back. And he felt that his time had sort of come. You know, he sort of felt like this version. And by the way, C, I'm starting to understand how you feel. You know, that this sort of version of the music and radio was passing him by. And LL Cool J and them reached out. Jay Hudson, these guys reached out and gave C a platform at Rock the Bells Radio. And then eventually, shout out to our brother Skip Dillard, who gave him the opportunity to come back to 94.7 The Block. And the thing that I was most struck by with Mr. Cee over the last several years, and this is the congratulations to anybody who ever had negative things to say about Mr. Cee. And believe me, we all remember, everybody remembers who you are. If y'all thought in any way you could hold back Mr. Cee or negatively impact his energy, Laura, when I tell you that man, once everything went down the second time and it was a huge story and his enemies kind of came to light and showed their faces and the snakes sort of all showed their faces. Shawnee, I know you and I have talked about this.
Yeah.
C found a freedom. C found a light in his truth.
Yeah.
We used to have a joke about C. Me and Syfe make this joke all the time, and y'all all remember. You saw Mr. Cee on a Monday, bro. It was like walking doom and gloom. His mood used to be so bad on a Monday morning, bro. Syfe and I would hide. We'd be like, oh, God, because, you know, we're the younger. We'd be like, oh, God, here comes Monday, C. We'd be finishing up our morning show. C would come in to do Big Dennis's show. He'd walk in at like, 9:15, whatever it was, 9:30. We'd be like, oh, God, here comes C. And he'd have this look of misery. By the time you'd get to Friday, oh, we loved Friday C. Friday C was rocking. He had his party plans for the weekend. He was getting his mix ready to do Friday Night Live with Shawnee and Jay Medina. Yeah. He was in his zone. But Shawnee, as the years went on, and as he lived in his light, I only saw Friday C.
All the time.
He was smiling all the time.
Yeah, eating healthy, lost weight, a smile on his face all the time, smiling for pictures. Like, this wasn't the Mr. Cee Brooklyn bandit that we knew at one time. He was a happy C.
He was happy C. Go ahead, Laura. Sorry.
I just saw him in the summertime. He DJ'd a block party in Brooklyn, and I had taken Ken to her first block party. And when I tell you the way he was rocking, and he was so happy on that stage at that block party, he was in his element. And he DJ'd with Camilo, and I just saw Camilo on stage also just like filming him and Camilo was so happy because, at the end of the day, not only was that our, somebody that we worked with and somebody, a legend that we all looked up to, but C's our friend. You know what I mean? And to see him that happy excited us because, he had his, like you said, he had his little grumpy moments, but we all felt joy when we saw him happy. And these last couple of years, he looked good. He was in a good space. And I just keep thinking about that, like I'm happy that he felt happiness. At least I hope. And that's the energy we all got, you know what I mean? The last couple times we saw him.
C is such a big loss, like for all the DJs. I even speaking for like the DJs of my generation that we came a generation after C. C was the biggest mentor across the board. I'm talking about like, myself, Bobby Trends, Big Ben, DJ Self, and the list goes on and on. DJ Magic. These are all DJs that Mr. Cee, like, bro, I can't even hold it together, man.
Ugh, I know.
C's the type of guy, bro, like. My first time on the radio, bro, was like a 4 a.m. set, right? On a Sunday, like garbage time. I walk into the building like at 3 a.m. Who's sitting there, bro? Mr. Cee. he's like, I'm like, yo, why you here? He's like, yo, I just want to make sure you guys are comfortable and you guys, I'm here to help you guys for whatever you need. And this was C where he was like the biggest at his biggest, bro. And here's C helping me like nobody. That's the type of guy he was, man. It's a huge loss for hip hop, bro. I can't even.
Thank you, Kaz.
I know.
Saif describes C as the first hip hop celebrity he ever met. He was a celebrity. He was before he was our colleague, guys. This is a legend who we all were like just in awe to be in his presence.
Yeah,
right.
And then he was the one who put his arm around us the most. And obviously. Go ahead. Sorry,
Rosenberg. It's like he's the type of guy, man. Like, if you were any DJ worth your worth in this town, you know that you could call C for whatever. You could ask him whatever question. He's always gonna pick up the phone. If you don't pick up, he's gonna call you right back. And he was just a wealth of knowledge, man. Like, bro, Mr. C is such a big loss. I hope you guys understand how much of a big loss this is for hip hop.
And as a human being, because I used to be in the studio with Big Dennis and sending so much love to Big Dennis and him and C. They were like brothers, right? Because they would argue. They would argue. And I would be in the middle of it like, oh my God. And then no matter how angry he was at the end of the day, he would buy us lunch. You know what I mean? And that was just his way of showing you like he still loved you and he still cared. He had his own ways of showing things. And as a human, as a human being, and I'll tell you this, we're talking about, like industry stuff, but I felt so much peace and so much joy to see how many people would say things. Me and my mom bonded over his throwback at noon. Me and my parents, we have the best memories of the throwback at noon. And it was such an important moment. And I'm so blessed that I was able to sit in the studio with him as he crafted these masterpieces every day. But it's such an important part of everybody's lives. Like, he literally curated soundtrack for our lives. Like, there is no other person who found joy and how much passion he put into his mixes. We all stopped. No matter where we're at, we all stopped to listen.
Well, if Mr. C was here, just like I did when he was here, I would say to him, sir, why do you have trucks driving around Brooklyn with What's Your Fantasy on the back? What type of time is that? You get this button, bro. What is going on with the Tropical Island Punch finisher, fam? How is that happening?
Oh, my God.
What was that, Tropical Fantasy?
Yeah, it's Tropical Fantasy.
And it said, what's your fantasy at the top?
Yeah, it said,
Yo, we used to roast Mr. C all day.
That truck is still running around the city, bro. It's still moving around. You might catch it on a random day. Yeah, it's out there.
Listen, we had jokes, man. We had jokes, but we stood by our brother's side. We went to war.
Always.
We stood on the front lines. And
I want to say this too, because Ebro's not going to say it. The morning that many of you remember, one of the most iconic in the history of the station, in my opinion, and certainly in Ebro's time back on the air, was when C had gotten in trouble publicly. Everyone had known, and Ebro had him come up, and we had that sit down. And Ebro, you stood next to him, and had that conversation in a way that was historic. We never seen that in hip hop. We never seen someone dealing with an issue involving their sexual identity, all these different questions people had about transgender people and homosexuality, all these questions, and you gave him space and kindness and empathy, and you stood there next to him in a time when people were coming for him, bro. And I know what that meant to him. Everybody knows that. It was a big, important moment, and C, I know how much he appreciated that, and how much he appreciated this whole family who stood with him. And when you guys think about the glory days of Hot 97, which all of us were blessed to be a part of, just know C was the nucleus. He was He was the connection to everybody, whether you were a heavy hitter, a big dog pit bull, morning show, afternoon drive, program director. He was the nucleus of the radio station. So you're going to see a lot of people hurting today because of how much he meant to all of us.
Our friend Carly Hustle described him as a giant because that's what he was. And that's what he is. A giant that we all loved.
Well, we thank you, Mr. Cee. We thank all the communities out there tuned in.
Called DOA.
It's the reason why we making this movie.
You want to know what DOA stands for?
Tell him, C.
Death of Auto-Tune. I've been waiting for somebody to address this.
A couple of those guys are our guys, but you're taking an L tonight.
Hold on.
Oh my God.
Only rapper to rewrite history without a pen. No ID on the track, let the story begin. This is anti-auto-tune, death for the ringtone. This ain't for iTunes, this ain't for sing-alongs. This is Sinatra at the opera. Bring a blonde, preferably with a fat ass who can sing a song.
A couple of those auto-tunes, people of our friends. We're taking a different type of L tonight.
John, so you was there, legendary night, right?
I was there many nights in the studio with C and Flex premiering a bunch of records like that, DOA and Otis. And, C is a very special friend to everyone. But I knew C, like Cass knew C, like you guys knew C, but he was that battery in Flex's back. What I mean by battery, you put that battery in someone's back and you get a different Flex on the radio. And as C in that video, you can find on Hot 97 YouTube, C kind of like intros the record, and C just sets the tone, man. He sets the tone at Summer Jam. He's the best DJ at Summer Jam. I don't care if anyone feels any type of way, but he is, because Cass know it, because he's a crafty veteran. He's the young Mariano. Yo, man, C was the most mad scientist DJ I ever knew. Like, if you never learned anything about DJing and hip hop, C's that guy. He was a very big sports guy.
Huge.
We have arguments. And
he loved to talk trash too. If you like Juanito, he was coming for you when your team's lost.
Oh man, listen. So last year when had Aaron Rodgers, and after the fourth play, Aaron Rodgers going down, I texted like, yo, he's still a Jets fan now.
Yo, you're such a bad guy. That is such a DJ Juanito move to hit Mr. C when Aaron Rodgers got injured. Yo, you're such a bad guy.
Yo, and C, and C also was a big Madden guy. C would take one vacation a year, and it would be the day that Madden came out. Because then he would sit at home and play Madden for the whole week just to be able to come back, then set up a TV in the studio and say, okay, who wants to play me? Who wants to? Yo.
No, he was a hardcore Jets fan.
No, the L part is going to be when the Jets win the Super Bowl this year.
LLJ, Cool J.
That's going to be the L part. That's going to be the L part. C going to get to celebrate. We're going to celebrate for you, C. You know what I'm saying? It's going to happen. Watch. DJ Mike Scott is calling in from Charlotte. He wanted to talk about Mr. C. Mike Scott, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Ebro. You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. What you want to say about the great Mr. C?
Yo, this guy, man, he was legendary, first of all. And Cass, one, man, I feel you, dude, because his impact was incredible. All the way here, Charlotte, North Carolina. I met Steve over the telephone. I don't know how he got my number, but I was doing this thing down here called a DJ spinoff, bringing out the DJs, just giving them the opportunities to do what they do in front of other folks and being on the platform. And C called me because I had people from Merrill to Chuck Chill Out to other name droppers. I'm not going to sit here and just drop a lot of DJ names. But C called me, and he's like, yo, Mike, you never answered your phone. I'm like, who is this? I'm like, who is this? I told my girl, I said, who is this? And he's like, it's Calvin. I'm like, who is Calvin? So he did that, he put a little muscle behind his voice. He's like, yo, Mike, this is Mr. C. And yo, when I say my guts and everything dropped to the bottom of my toes, and I was like, yo, you got to be kidding me, man. And we talked like we knew each other.
Yeah.
And from the DJ's perspective of just life, man, him and I talked. And he told me about the deal with LL and how we can put the DJs, the legend DJs from the South, how we can put them on. Because C was all about the culture of DJ at first.
Yeah.
You know, how
Yeah.
it was,
Yes.
and man, when I got the news yesterday, I was actually playing some Biggie. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, I'm on my Biggie mood today. I'm gonna make my DJ room up. I'm gonna invite some DJs over. And then I heard it over 97 because I stream you guys every single minute of the day. I stream 97, and I scream. My girl is like, Andrew's like, what's wrong? I say, C, pass, and she knew exactly what I was talking about. And man, it was just pure silent in the house. And yo, I'm talking about I'm hurt. So Cash, I feel your pain, big dog. I feel your pain. That guy is a monster, man. He is that dude to not only the DJ community, just to hip hop alone. So I appreciate you guys giving me this opportunity to let you know, man. 9-7 is all the way down here in Charlotte, man. We rocking you guys 100%, man. So just put us on the air more, you know.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. And thank you for your kind words about C, and thank you for your work as a DJ, bro. You know, DJs don't get enough appreciation for what they've done for hip hop. You know, I think that's probably that's a different conversation for a different day about how important the DJ is to what we love about hip hop, man. It's taken for granted.
But that story that he told was so
Mr. C, yeah.
It's
Yo,
so
Calvin, man. What?
Well, like he was very personable and personal in that way, and also, man, he was the king of I'm calling you.
Pick
Right.
up. Yeah, facts.
Pick up your phone. He is the king of pick up your phone, and it always makes you feel like it's something urgent. It's gonna be then it's gonna be a private number.
Right.
Man,
That's why he would tell you pick up, because he's calling you private.
He's calling you from a private number. Pick up your phone, and then you think it's on. Like, what's going on? And then it would just be kind of regular,
up,
but
man?
what he wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, right now. Let's go to Tara on the line. I think she's still there. Tara wanted to share something about Mr. C. We're giving our condolences and love to Mr. C. Hopefully you went to a party or got a mixtape or heard him on the radio. Tara, what'd you want to say, man?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So I just want to start by saying I just turned 41. So when I was 18, I had the opportunity to go to Club Speed. And I know most of New York City knows Club Speed.
Hell yeah.
And I spent every Sunday night in that place for like 2 years straight. And I failed out of Westchester Community College.
There we go.
I'm telling you, I had some of the best nights of my life, and ever since that time, I literally would chase Mr. C parties like throughout life. And so I live in Atlanta now, and I listen to you guys every morning from the app. So I literally, like, I've never lost my New York connection. But when I tell you, anytime I would see Mr. C on the flyer or anything I could get from him, I'm like, I'm there. I have to be there. And it was just some of the greatest times of my life. And I know that sounds so crazy, like people like, you so passionate about a party. But like anybody that knows me, I would drop everything to go out Sunday night religiously. It's so sad, but it was the greatest
beautiful. It's beautiful, Tara. Honestly, it's beautiful.
Definitely.
Thank you for your call. You know, I get tears in my eyes, man, about that because, like all of y'all know, that's what we live for.
Right. Yo, C was so fun at parties, bro. Like one thing I never forgot. One night I went to go see him play because C's just a DJ that DJs would just go out and see. Like, yo, we got to go see C. So we had this club, right? And C just got on, and you know, people still walking into the club late. They have their coats on. This girl had a coat on, and C stopped the music. And he said, "Listen, I'm here to rock. We gonna party. I'm not playing one more record until that girl right there takes off her coat." Right? So everybody's like, "There's no music playing." It's like 5 minutes, no music playing. And she's like, "You know what? Now I'm not gonna play a record until she takes off her coat and gives it to me. Right? So now at this point it's 10 minutes, no music playing. So everybody's like, yo, just take off the coat, give him the coat. So she took off the coat, gave it to C. Now you know C's a big guy. And this is a small woman. C puts her coat on. Puts the coat on, bro. He puts her coat on super tight and starts DJing, rocking for the next half hour with her coat on.
Yo, that is amazing.
They gives it back to her with the C sweat on it. Here you go.
Hilarious.
I'm like, yo, what? Why? Yo,
let's go to Michelle.
Wild,
we're taking calls about Mr. C, having dialogue about the great Mr. C, who we lost, man. But as you can see throughout his work, he'll be with us. He'll be with us. Michelle, what you want to say?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. When I got word of this yesterday, I just got stuck. I got stuck. Aside from the mixtapes, the live and moon, the rocking, I'm in a woman of a certain age, and you know the knees may not be kneeing no more because of Mr. C and the hair weave that he sweated out, and my body aches to the left and my body aches to the right because of the mini party that I attended that he just did. And just thank you, Mr. C, for representing Bed-Stuy. No matter where we saw him, Long Island, wherever he was, he always took it back to Bed-Stuy. Always Bed-Stuy. And I want to give you guys a shout out because I'm listening to y'all this morning, and I want to thank y'all for giving him a safe space when all that was going on. Y'all gave him a safe space. I remember, Ebro, you saying to him, bro, keep it real with us. This is us. This is us. Y'all had to remind him in the midst of everything that was going on around him. We didn't care about none of that nonsense that was going on. It was about him. It was about the music. And you guys, I remember vividly, I just was playing everything in my mind, and y'all just gave him a safe space to say, bro, it's us. And y'all gave him a safe space to say what he needed to say. And we heard what we needed to hear from him directly, and we ain't give a what. Play the music. We love you, Mrs. C. Always Bed-Stuy. Thank you guys for this minute. Thank you for the platform. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much. Man.
It's hard to put it better than she just did. That was.
Yeah, man. That's what it's all about, man.
The definition of Brooklyn. My man was the definition of Brooklyn.
Yeah, man. I don't even know if he was really a Brooklyn Nets fan, but he wore that shirt.
Now, listen.
He did.
He changed his whole DJ logo because Brooklyn had a team.
Right.
He did.
Yeah.
That is
And
such
I don't
a
even
fact.
know if he liked the team like that.
But
you know what? He was going to ride out. He was going to ride out. That was,
That's it.
and that was one of his slogans, man. Let's ride out. We're going to ride out, man. And he meant it. Yeah, so we're taking your calls. As you can see, it's very emotional. It's very real. The feelings are very new and very raw.
Y'all remember when C started doing the Black Fist Friday?
Yeah, Black Fist Friday.
And started bringing up like legends of the culture, and he'd have Pete Rock guest DJ, Questlove guest DJ. He was just always trying to innovate. There are very few people I've known in my career who I've seen nerd out more than me when it comes to getting hyped to like do a radio thing. That dude's level. C was a cool guy, but the level of nerding he was doing in his head, how excited he would be to put together a set and to have a moment on the air, his understanding of the moment. Juanito said it really well earlier, too. He was the battery in Flex's back a lot at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like when you would hear Flex going off back in the day, this is, now it's 2024. We're going back to the 08, 09, 09, 10. That era, there was a lot of C there getting Flex hyped up and letting him know who he was. You know what I mean? C played that role. And we were talking off the air. The level of close, unique, original relationship. He had an individual relationship with every one of us that you're listening to right now and everyone else I can ever think of at the radio station. He had his own unique, and that's not true. I mean, not all of us talk to each other all the time. C stayed in contact with everybody. For me, over the last 7 years, it became through the Michael K show.
Right.
I would just get the text from C weighing in on a topic. Telling me opinion, telling me someone who he loved on the air, telling me someone he hated on the air. I saw a post earlier from a friend of mine named Danielle. She does nights and weekends on The Fan, on my competition on the Sports Talk. It's owned by Odyssey, which is the same company that owns 94.7 The Block. So C was in the same building as Danielle. And she put up the sweetest post about how C just would call her on her late night shows. I mean, she's in her grind period. She's doing the late nights, the early mornings on the weekend, all those shifts, trying to make it in Sports Talk. And C calls her on her late night shows and then would see her in person and lift her up. And just became her friend. Like, it's just who he is. He's always been this guy to so many of us. He is such a wonderful person. And he could be gruff. You caught him on the wrong day. I want to be clear. Mr. C has scared me on more than one occasion. I'm going to be clear. Many of us have been scared by Mr. C. But you never questioned his heart and the way that he felt about you, you know?
Well, I think if you're hearing people emotional today and you don't understand, or didn't have the privilege of being affected by what Mr. C gave to music lovers and hip hop lovers and tri-state area, because that's what I think he set out to do with his life, was to give kind of this, for lack of a better term, powerful energy through the music so that we could come together and celebrate something that we all love. And if there's anything you can learn, I hope it's that you find something that you care about as much as Mr. C cared about hip-hop.
And his art of DJing, because he cared. From Cast One story of coming up, to people with a dream, to the OGs, to the legends, constantly uplifting the DJ. And it's so important, because not enough people do that.
And as our friend Young Sav is texting me right now, it's so important. He wrote, C's musical knowledge was crazy. He also kept a hold of everyone's birthday and anniversary. And he would always commemorate the artist. If you go look at his Instagram, there's not a DJ artist that he forgets. He lifted, and that's for us now to step up and do a better job remembering, whether it was a legend or someone who may have slipped through the cracks. If they made an impact on him in any way, he remembered them. And Sav also reminded me that he called his laptop the Bible.
Right.
The Bible.
Yeah, I remember one time he came out and he supported my sister for her 50th birthday. She said, "Do you think we could get Mr. C?" She wanted that old school classic body to building. She rented a hall, and he drove all the way to Long Island. I think it was raining or something crazy, and he came out there and, man, he was like, "This is the Culture family." And it was probably a room with like 150 people. And, listen, my family from Trinidad. C's family's from Trinidad, too, on the low. So he came and really did something special for us and made the whole night just amazing. He met my mom, my father. And again, it just, the personal connection, the personal conversations, the sitting in the car for a long time with C, it's just, you don't really find that type of energy in the music industry. So it's just reiterating the same point that all of us have that same story.
I think it's important, too, like you said, the music industry. I often tell people a lot, we're not in the music industry. We're in the radio business. I mean, we play music and we work with the music industry, but Mr. C, he he didn't care about all that, man. He cared about DJing, bro.
Right.
He cared about playing the hottest records. He cared about being in the community and finding new hot records that people was, galvanized around and that he could share. He didn't care if it was signed to a label or not. If it was on fire out here, he was gonna figure out how to get it to the people. And he was willing. And I think, what, another thing I hope everybody's hearing is Mr. Cee was willing to do the work.
Right. That's a fact.
He was willing to actually go outside, interact with individuals, connect in a real way, and put in work. And you don't see that as often. It's happening, but with somebody as great and as accomplished as Mr. Cee, who truly embodied that and wanted to do that and live that and work that, it's special. And we thank you, Mr. Cee. We thank you. I hope, there's a lot of talk. We live in a time, man, there's a lot of talking, man. And, I talk for a living. That's how I get money. But the team up here let you know that when I'm not doing this, I'm not that talkative. So when things get real, I'm not the most talkative guy. And, I feel like with Mr. Cee, man, he spoke through the music. He spoke with his hands. He spoke, at parties. I was like, if you ever actually saw Mr. Cee DJ, he literally gave his entire physical body to the performance of putting on records for your entertainment.
Each and every
like
time.
you can literally watch him at times pulling from deep within his soul to try to
it was
give
different.
you everything he had.
Yeah, kind of makes you feel, Cass. C put so much into it. It kind of makes you feel like as a DJ, you're not even really doing it. Like he was doing something different.
You guys don't even, and people that don't see the background of it don't even understand like the amount of time and
preparation.
Preparation. Mr. Cee, listen, people hear Mr. Cee and they hear him get on the radio and they hear him play at noon and they're like, oh yeah, that was fire how he put that together. C would sit here for hours before every time he went on the air and meticulously put together every song that he played from 12 o'clock to 12:55. And his songs would play, like he'd have the clock set up and have all the songs at the exact same minute that he was going to play. Like that's the type of dedication that C had to when it came to DJ. Like it wasn't just fly by night, like I'm going to just get on and play records. That was not what it was happening here. So as a DJ, when you see that, you're like, bro, what am I doing with my life? If like the way he puts things together, like I can't even understand what's happening here. Like
the way he would. I would see him stand in a club and monitor the crowd like a deranged scientist. It was different than when other DJs would be like, "Oh, I'm about to go on next." He would like stand on a chair and just like, I don't know, like a soldier militant, just kind of like feeling where this is going, seeing what hasn't been done already, and knowing how he's going to open up to change the mood completely from whatever the DJ had done right before him.
So, at Summer Jam, we have the DJ sets at Summer Jam. There's one legendary DJ set that any DJ that's ever DJed on that Summer Jam stage or even was just in the building will tell you about, right? I don't remember the year, but everybody got on. All the DJs got on. Everybody killed. There's one of those years where everybody was just on point, killing it. And C was one of the DJs coming on last, right? It's raining. People are tired. People are ready to go home. And we're like, yo, C, what are you going to do? Everybody's played everything. Like, how are you going to? He's like, don't worry about this. I got it. Don't worry about it. C gets on and plays nothing but instrumentals and has all the crowd singing the verses. He went on for his whole 15-minute set and didn't play one word, bro, and had the building shaking. Like that's the type of stuff that Mr. Cee would just think of, like you would just not think do. You know what I'm saying? And he was just, and that's
I think
a big part.
What you're hearing today is love, and I think about how each and every one of us dreamt and fought to be a part of this family.
Right.
And some of our uncles moved away, some of our aunts moved away, some of our sisters and brothers moved away, but it's always family. And we all are living our dream, and what you hear is pain in our hearts because these are the people that raised us. These are the people that taught us. And people always say, like, but it works on another station. It's not just a job for us. Like, we actually love each other. We love our people, and we hold them near to our hearts. And I've never seen another type of family like the one we have. And it's so important because even the listeners each and every day say, I grew up with y'all. My kids are growing up with y'all. And it's so important to us. And that's what Mr. Cee stood for. Like, every time I see people talk about Throwback at Noon and his mixes and what it meant to people, because we are so fortunate to be a part of your everyday life. But not only your life, like, this is our life together. And we all have our families, but this is a very special family that we all have and will forever be family.
You know, big shout out to Dennis. You mentioned Dennis earlier. Shout out to Dennis. Shout out to Yogi, man. Shout out to our guy Yogi. Yogi spent a lot of time with.
Shout out to Sonny. Yo, shout out to Sonny, man. Shout out to
people who shared the shift with him specifically.
Well, and I was just gonna say, Shawnee, like, you know, we're just honored to be able to have shared space with you, C. Thank you, man.
And that he closes the show like the champion he is.
Mr. Cee on Hot 97.
This is the winning dance. The winning dance, when you win and you do stuff that other stations don't do. You know what I mean? This is the winning dance. Shout out to Do-Wop, Kick Prince, Raw G. It's crazy. That's the winning dance. When your feet just go. They say I can't do it, then I do it, man, I love it. When it goes against the kid, I get better than.